So I was going to use my Julia Child voice for this, but then I thought that would be stupid. Anyway, so let's go to the right and show the pot. There is the pot that I used to cook 5 pounds of potatoes. Put it back to me. Red potatoes, and they're in the sink. So I cooked them, I drained them in the colander, and then I put them in the fridge overnight. Now I'm going to peel them, which is very easy to do. And then when we come back, we'll be slicing them. You can watch while I do 1 or 2. So now I'm just going to show you how this goes because it's really easy and it goes pretty quick. And you can see the potatoes in the sink. And it doesn't matter if you take off too much potato or whatever. I just do the best I can. The bowl next to me is where the potatoes are going to go. The sliced potatoes and onion and parsley will go. But for now, I'm just going to put the potatoes in there. So I'll just do a couple. This is out because we're going to make cookies. Tomorrow will be the sauce and meatballs. So you get the point. I mean, it's just easy. I use red potatoes because I like the taste of them. I'm not a big fan of Yukons for potato salad, but I mean, you know, that's really up to you. You try and see what you think, and you can always change it. And if there's like dark spots like you see here, that won't matter because remember, you're going to put the mayonnaise mixture and all that stuff. All right, so that's all we're going to do for now. That last one was just a rehearsal because Rick didn't push video. So anyway, we have assembled here all the things we need. Go back to the point where the sink, where you saw all the potato peels, or maybe you did, going onto paper towel. That's because you should never ever put them down your sink. Even with a disposal, because we had a bad experience on a holiday. I think it was Thanksgiving that I did just that and everything backed up. Not good for a holiday. Anyway, so we have the potatoes here, which doesn't seem like 5 pounds, but it is. The bowl I'm going to use. Half a Vidalia onion, which I like better than the yellow onion because it's just sweeter. It's not as biting. And then all the things I need here for making the sauce. And as you know, I don't measure things, so this time I'm going to try to measure to see if I can't make it a little bit easier for you to figure this out. Anyway, that's that. So here we go. I'm going to slice up some onion now, and I try to make this as fine as I can. So I'm going to start by doing it that way. I'm not really good at chopping. I know you are probably really good at it. But it's not my strong suit. I try not to make myself bleed. That's my goal. So, let's see. Let's see what I mean. Not good at that. But we'll do it that later. And this, then, I'm going to do little bits and pieces as best I can. And then Rick is going to put the bowl back where it was so that I can just throw these in. And I think about a half an onion is enough. If when you taste it, again, it's kind of like not a science here with this. When you taste it, if you feel like it's not oniony enough, you put more in. That's all. Just that simple. So, I'm going to try to do, no, that didn't work either. I'll try to do this now. Thinner. Don't laugh. Not nice to look for your mom. Remember, this is what you asked for Christmas. Could have had a present for you. And we'll do the sauce tomorrow and the meatballs. We're trying to debate whether or not you want a sausage in there, but that's always something you can add. So that's going to be an interesting task since I don't measure stuff. So, but we'll figure it out. Okay, please, a bowl. And once I get this in here, I'm going to show you how to do the potato, or how I do the potato anyway. I go for as thin as I can possibly get, I don't think everybody cares for really thick potatoes and potato salad. It's one of the reasons why I don't like it when I'm out, you know, like to lunch or something like that. I don't necessarily like the potato salad. Rick is pretty easy to please, but he and Rachel are my biggest fans with this, and you. All right, so now you can take the bowl back again, Rick. And I'll show you this. Here's one of the rather large potatoes, but so I cut it in half, and you'll see why in a bit. So now I'm going to try to slice, as I said, as thin as I can. And then it gets to a point here where you'll see right about there, I guess. See, those are pretty nice slices. Where I turn it then, because I want more room. Because the other way I wasn't going to be able to get those slices that thin. Also, keep in mind when you're making potato salad, unless you're picking out the red potatoes, which might be the way to go. If you get a bag of potatoes, you're going to get all different sizes. I try to manage that by, can I have the bowl, please? I try to manage that by cooking the potatoes and watching them and using a big fork to test them after a certain amount of time. Okay. And then the bigger potatoes, which you'll see there are some big, really big ones in there, and then some really tiny ones. Like for instance, here's a small one. Clearly that one's going to be done way ahead of the big one. So I will take the smaller ones out and then leave the big ones in and keep checking. But it would probably be simpler if I just bought them individually and picked out all the same size ones, kind of. So I'm just going to do, you're getting the idea here, I'm sure. So I think what we'll do is stop the video in a moment. The bowl, please. And then we'll come back when I'm about done with that. And then we'll show you the measurements for, best I can, for the sauce and the seasonings. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back. And I really wanted to do the Julia Child. Merry Christmas, Michael.
Yuck.
Take a look. The potatoes. Hello? The cameraman's not doing well. Okay. All right, so there's the potatoes. So we're going to put that aside. And then I bought a brand new jar of mayonnaise. Okay. And there's the top of that. Let's see if I can get this off. Whoops. It's oozing out. Okay. Okay, so we have our bowl here. And as you know, I don't measure, so this is going to be an interesting little experiment. I've got my salt, my pepper. I always put a little dash of garlic powder in. I mean, that's not something I would measure. I would just sprinkle a couple. And this, of course, is my parsley. And, you know, I've never made this with fresh parsley, but for a garnish on top, the fresh parsley would look nice. But you can use the parsley for what's going in the bowl. Okay, so what we have here, it says 1/2 cup. I would say that probably needs about 4. So that would be what, 2 cups? Let's take a look. So we'll start with this. This will be a little bit easier once I get into this. Oh, I don't want that right now. Yeah, maybe I do. I'll take this one. Okay, so this is 1/2 cup. Okay, so I'm guessing it's going to be about 2 cups of mayonnaise. I mean, obviously, Michael, you can see I'm not being exact. But maybe when you see what's in the bowl, you won't need a measuring cup at all. You'll just figure out you have, I think, these same bowls or something very much like them. Okay, so this will be the 3rd one. And actually, I may start with 3 because I'm looking at that. Can you see it, Rick? In there, in the cup, in the pot? Bowl. Ooh. So that's about what it looks like. It's about up to here on there, so you can see that. Let's start with that and see how it goes. So now I've got this little measuring spoon, and this is 1 tablespoon. So I don't think I need that much salt. I'm going to start with 1.5 teaspoons. And salt is one of those things that, you know, nobody wants to have too much of, but you also want to make sure that you have enough. A box of salt might be easier than this, but so some of it already kind of spilled in. So that's 1.5. Put that in. And the pepper, again, is not something that you need to measure. So I'm going to do a little garlic powder. Okay. So I just did 1 tube, that's all. And the pepper, again, that's going to be the same kind of thing. I might do 3 on that, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. 4.5, 5. Hope you're getting that. And then we're going to put, well, this one is 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to put a tablespoon in and mix it around and see where we are at. Okay. So that's 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. I said that right. And then I'm going to mix it up. It's kind of a little lumpy when it first starts out, but you want it to be creamy smooth, kind of like a dressing. Maybe a little thicker than dressing. And the only way to tell if this is right is to taste it. Should I let my cameraman taste it, or shall I? We'll see. Hold on a second. I think it's probably going to need a little bit more vinegar, but let's just see. Remember, there's nothing, I don't salt the potato water or anything like that, so the salt that went in was just the salt that went in. All right, so now it looks nice and creamy smooth. You want, I guess I'll do it. Let's see. Salt is perfect. Here, I'm gonna let Rick try. Just put your little finger in there. I think it's okay the way it is. Yeah. I don't think it needs more white vinegar. And then that was 1 tablespoon, right? So that seems like it wasn't enough, but I think it was. Again, if I were you, I would taste it, and then you can determine. Now we're gonna pour it all over and go from there. And I don't pour it all at the same time. So I take dollops. And I love that word. So I put like 5 dollops in here.
Is that a chef's phrase?
Say again?
That's a chef's phrase?
Yeah, probably a dollop. Shoot, shoot, a dollop of Daisy. Then I'll take my spoon and mix it up. Now, more often than not, I didn't sit down with it, but I would use either a spatula or a wooden spoon to do this. Just because we're not looking to break up the potatoes, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to, so I'm trying to do it a little bit gently so that it covers everything. I think one time, and you mentioned it, I thought it was not creamy enough, so I made it creamier, and you did not think that was a good idea. And I believe you were correct. So. And we have probably about two or three more dollops in here, which I'm going to put in. I hope you remember what I said about them. Oh, it was, we used 2 cups, right? No, we used 3. 3 scoops of the,
No,
yeah, we used 3 scoops of
mayo.
the mayo, which is
It was a cup and a half.
a cup and a half. We didn't use 2, okay. But, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you were gonna use 2 cups.
Right, but then, so then looking at what's in the bowl will give you a better idea than actually measuring it. I mean, the first time you do it, I understand you'd probably want to stick with measuring, but this is not like baking, as you have pointed out. It's not a science. This is by taste, by feel. Remember, all of my onions were at the bottom, so I'm trying to roll them up to the top now. And I'm going to now, probably should have done this to begin with, put some more parsley, put some parsley in. That should have kind of gone in here in the mixture. But I'm going to put quite a bit in because I am going to mix it up again. If you want to know how much that is, I can't tell you that. But here's what it looks like. Can you see that? So now we're going to mix it. And then you're bringing it somewhere, which is what we're going to be doing with some of this. You would then just sprinkle it all on the top again. Make it look pretty, that's all. But as I said, you know, I know kind of the chef that you are, much better than I am. You would use fresh parsley on top, at the very least, because I don't know how it would taste with fresh parsley in it. We know how it tastes. All right, so now, let's flip the camera for you. No, do you know how to flip it so you're looking, it's looking at you? You got it?
No.
On the bottom of the screen, there's a little round thing.
Yeah, that's right there.
Try not, you should be able to see yourself. Okay, let me do it. Oh well, I don't know. You were right. I brought it to Rachel's. So good. Don't you wish you were here? Ready?
Yep.
Time to make the meatballs. I decided to do this at the table just because I think it would be easier to show you. I took a picture of the package of meat, which I'll send you separately. But so that you know, this is about approximately, can you see it? 2 pounds. The package was a little over 6 pounds, so I divided it into 3. So that's about 2 pounds. Again, you know your mother doesn't measure things, so we're gonna try that today. I brought the measuring spoon, which this is 1 tablespoon, I think. Yes, it is 1 tablespoon. So we'll start with that. I don't like to salt, I don't salt my sauce at all. So this is kind of interesting that I do salt the meatballs. So I'm going to maybe put this like this. I can't reach my spoon and turn it, so it's easier if I just do it this way.
You can open the top.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Well, maybe I do. Okay, we'll do it my sidekick's way. So, this is a tablespoon. And I just sprinkle it on top of the meat. Okay? And then we'll just do the pepper, which It's a little different. I don't put that much in. I don't even think I put a teaspoon in, but let's take a look at what we'll do. So this is a teaspoon. So let's take a look at what that looks like. This is a teaspoon, so we're gonna see what it looks like as I'm going. I may not put it all in. Yeah, I think a teaspoon is too much. So maybe 2/3 of a teaspoon. So I'll put that back. Now, I bought fresh basil, but we're not using that in the meatballs, and I'll explain that in a little bit. This is the granulated garlic, and this I will put a teaspoon, only because I want to see what it looks like. I'm gonna sneeze. God bless me. Okay, so this is a teaspoon, and I think that's gonna be a little bit too much. So just like the pepper, I'd probably say 2/3 of a teaspoon. Now, you know me, and I don't know, I think you kind of know me. I have a tendency to taste things even if it's raw. Salt, pepper, I did that. Parsley. This is, you can get really generous with this. I just like the way it looks. So I'm just gonna do a tablespoon and see how that is. I might even do just a titch more.
A heaping tablespoon.
Yeah, well, maybe that would be what that was. Okay. Now, like I said, Rick actually brought the fresh basil for the sauce. For the meatballs, I don't like it because, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd know, other than washing it and drying it and chopping it, I don't think I'd know how much to put in. So I know how to do this. And I know you're not gonna like this, but I'm going to put my spoon in here, take some of it, well no I'm not. I'm gonna put my spoon here. This is 2 teaspoons. And I'm gonna take it because dried herbs and spices, you have to pinch between your fingers. So you wanna pinch them, which awakens the flavors in there. Don't laugh at me. You cannot laugh. You'll be like Evie and say, very interesting. Oh, there was one thing I forgot, a big thing. Oh my goodness. We are going to stop the tape for a moment. Hold on, just so you can see what this looks like. That's kind of what it looks like right now. We're gonna stop for 1 second so I can go get my cheese. I like to use a lot of cheese in my meatballs. I just love the taste of the cheese in meatballs and in sauce. So what I bought was, well, first of all, we live in the land of dairy. This is the dairy state. It's imported grated pecorino romano. I could have gotten a wedge of locatelli, but chose to get this instead. So we're gonna try it. So you're gonna ask me how much. I don't know. So let's just play with it. First of all, let's make this 2 tablespoons, a tablespoon. So that's 1 tablespoon heaping, as Rick said. And then we'll do another tablespoon heaping. And then we'll do another tablespoon. I like cheese. Heaping. And I think that'll do it for now. So that was 3 heaping tablespoons. I might come back and put more in at some point. This will also go in the sauce. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix this. Usually, you know, a lot of people would just put the breadcrumbs in and the egg and mix it all together. But I wanna mix this because I wanna like marry these flavors before I put the breadcrumbs in and the egg. So that's what we're gonna do. And it doesn't take long because it's just a matter of mixing it all together. And I will taste this. Don't challenge me, don't dare me. I think it's gonna be good. Okay. So that's kind of what it looks like at this point. Now, I will pour in how much, I don't know. This would be one of those things that I just pour it until I know it's okay. And because I'm left-handed, I have to stop, get my left hand cleaned off a bit.
That's breadcrumbs she's talking about.
Right. What'd you say? What did I say?
You didn't say it. You said put this.
Oh. This is 1 cup. And I don't know if it's too much. I've never measured. So in goes some. And this I've also added more afterward. So actually, I'm going to put the whole cup in. I'm going to mush it around a little bit, and then I'll put the egg in. At some point, I might figure, oh, well, I need more breadcrumbs. But we're going to do this first. If you're wondering why I'm doing this before I do the sauce, because I want this to go in immediately, because this is going to Christmas Eve dinner tonight over at Rachel and Ryan's. All right, so now I'm gonna crack my egg. Doesn't matter if it's white or brown, it just happens to be that Ryan's sister has chickens and brings us eggs. So. Okay. So I'm breaking the egg up, mushing it around.
Mush it, mush it, mush it.
Mush. That's what I say to Evie when I wash her face. Mush it, mush it, mush it, mush it. Tommy said today, texted me and said, thank you. I think he said, you know, this is my favorite day of the year. I thank, and I have you to thank for that. And I was happy to hear that. I know you're probably right in the throes of church right now, so you'll be happy to be home when this is done. I hope you have something good to eat tonight. Wish it was going to be potato salad and sauce. Rick had potato salad for breakfast this morning. So I think this consistency is actually pretty good. I don't like dry meatballs, so that's why I want to be careful how much breadcrumbs to put in. So that cup, I think, was enough with the 2 pounds of meat and then all the seasoning. And as I said, I'm not lying. I am going to taste this mixture and see if it needs anything else. Here we go. Perfect amount of salt. Perfect amount of basil. Garlic powder. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and I'll show you a couple, and then we'll turn it off for a bit while I'm getting the sauce ready to go. Depends on how big you want your meatballs. I don't like them real big, but so then you just take it and you know how to form a meatball. Evie even makes meatballs with grandma, like that. And you know, I'm doing that also because tonight we're bringing this to Rachel and Ryan's, and the kids are going to make meatball heroes. I brought some combination of mozzarella and provolone, which will melt on top of that. We'll put sauce on and melt it on top. So that's what they wanted. Rachel's making taco soup, which that's another explanation for another day. So pretty much that's it, honey. I don't know if you have questions, of course, when you get this, you can ask. I tried to be as precise as I could as someone that doesn't measure things. So yeah, that's it. My meatballs are not perfect by any stretch. So that's it. Manja. See you in a little bit on the sauce side.
That's all from Chef Boyardee for now.
Okay. So 20 meatballs is what that made. A couple of them are different sizes, but that's mostly what they look like. And I learned from your father's mother that we don't need to fry them anymore, that's a thing of the past, and then she taught me that years ago. So I just drop them in the sauce after the sauce is made, and they soak up the flavor of the sauce, and they really are, as you know, very good. So that's that. And then now what I'm going to do is I've got 6 cloves of garlic, which I am going to chop up and crush with the flat of my knife. And when that's done, then we'll make the sauce. I'll be back. Bye. So here's the pot, which is the same pot I made the potatoes in. Here's the olive oil. We'll start with that. I already turned the electric on because I want it to heat. So I'm doing a tablespoon. Again, Michael, I did not measure this when I do it myself. So we're going to see how this goes. That's 1 tablespoon. Can you look in, Rick? Look in the pot?
Yeah.
Can you see what it looks like in there? That's important. So I'm going to put another, maybe half. I think that'll do it. So we're just going to wait for that to heat up a little bit. It's kind of on high. Can you show him what the garlic looks like? So there's my chopped garlic. Oh, by the way, while we're waiting, there's a site on Facebook called Born Again Italian that I'm a part of, and people recommended this. It's from Italy. It's M-U-T-T-I. It's crushed tomatoes, and that is all from Italy. So I bought them actually on Amazon. So I'm going to start with 3 cans, but I might end up with 4. Okay, and so let's see how that's going there. It's getting warm, so I'll put my garlic in. Oh, and by the way, I didn't use 6 cloves of garlic, I used 7. And then I also washed my basil. And you can see that over next to the meatballs. This is kind of bubbling, so I'm gonna move that in the middle. And what I've done before, what I always tend to do is put the tomatoes in 1 can at a time and then add some water. So I just am not familiar with these tomatoes, so we're going to try it and see how it goes. Here's my basil, my meatballs. What do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 8 leaves, which I'm going to rip. And I want this to get golden. I don't want it to get brown. The browner it gets, the sweeter it gets. So we're not looking for sweet. We just want a little soft. By the way, tomorrow I'm stuffing a turkey. It'll be kind of interesting when I put the tomatoes in. Of course, it's gonna fizzle. Now some of these are getting pretty brown, so put my water on and put this in. I have to kind of stir it right away. And put another can in. Oh, I also bought something I wasn't expecting. I bought some sausage, 4 pieces of sausage. You can add that or not add that. Now, this is the marinara sauce, Michael. This is the basis for every sauce I make. If I make a chicken sauce, I make it a little thinner. If I make a fish sauce, it's a little thinner. Did I say that? No, chicken. If I make spare ribs or meatballs, and that's the thicker of the gravy.
Tell them what you're doing there.
I'm adding about 1/3 of the can of water. Sorry.
All you're doing is trying to get the tomato out of there, right?
Yeah, I'm getting the tomato out of there, but I'm also thinning the sauce a little bit because this is going to be a thick sauce. And this is the one that it's going to have sausage and meatballs in it. So now we'll mix it up. And the first thing I always do is put my fresh basil in. I've never tasted these. I wonder what they taste like. Yum. Very tasty, like fresh tomatoes. So I'm ripping up the 8 leaves. It's funny, Evie and Cole won't eat any of this green stuff in there. They pull it out, which is fine because I think it tastes good, but it flavors it, and that's all that really matters. Little pieces, and then this last one. Okay, mix that in. The next thing I put in is the cheese. So you stay right here looking at the sauce, and I'm gonna get a spoon. I can't use that one. Sorry. This is a tablespoon from, the drawer, so it's not really an accurate tablespoon, but you'll get the idea. I put a lot in there. There's a heaping. Another heaping. Another heaping. So like 4. That's all. That's it. And then this is pepper. And I'm not measuring. I'm just going shake, 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 shake. Can you show him up top what it looks like? And parsley. Again, not measuring. I don't put nearly as much as I do in the meatballs, but there you go. That's about right. Now we're gonna mix it. Can you see that? And that's kind of what it looks like. Now, because we're looking at time here, I'm putting these in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that was 21. Mix that up. Noisy, aren't I? And I'm gonna let this cook for a minute, and then I'll put the sausage in. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna taste it again. Tasting good. Put the top on. Turn it down a little. I had it on medium. Put it a little lower than medium. And that's it, darling. We'll let you know on the other side how it comes out. Merry Christmas. Love you so much. Bye.